Hi everyone, let's talk about Scythe, which I just finished a full solo playthrough for, and I also did one about 5.5 years ago. Watch that one if you'd like. I hope that this one is a lot better though. Not that that one isn't enjoyable to watch, but hopefully righted some wrongs I made back then. Hey, I got Scythe back, thanks to popular demand and my own kind of curiosity. So first impressions is even more of a misnomer because I had it before and played it a lot, and I've had it now and played it a fair bit as well. I've played it about 10 times in the last few weeks that I've had it back. I've been really enjoying it, and that's like not so much as a surprise because Scythe solo for me was always really fun. It's such a lovely puzzle. It's kind of the first introduction to loving Automa Factory. Like, the viticulture Automa works so fantastically, but I think the interaction and the way that the cards work in Scythe was the first kind of like light bulb moment that, like, okay, we need to watch out for more solo things like this, especially because, you know, like in 2016 when I had it and filmed it, yeah, I wouldn't have played probably that many solo modes. That might have been the year of Feast for Odin and Gallerist later in that year, but especially for the time. I will say that multiplayer, and kind of the reason that I stopped having Scythe, space reasons as always, but also like Rach and I, who I play most of my games with, we don't like fighting in games at all. And I will say that Scythe is special for that because it's not particularly a game about, you know, you're out on the map. It is weird where you can see me kind of talking with my hands and not see them on the main camera. Yeah, it's not so much about just out and out fighting and a brawl for all for area control. It's got a lovely balance to it, whereas if you do go all in on a great big fight, win or lose, you're going to be vulnerable afterwards. Even if you really get what you want and you finally get to that factory and stuff, holding on to it might not be the best thing, or you might lose something really precious somewhere else on the map because now you're going to have spent perhaps your great combat cards or your power, and you're going to have to watch out for the future. And there is that kind of, yeah, it's been said a lot that it's not necessarily about the combat, it's about the kind of the threat of combat, that ominous threat that you need to be ready for it, but you don't necessarily want to force it or initiate it until you're sure it can be really advantageous to you. So I accept all of that stuff, and how Scythe is great for that, but still in competitive mode, in two-player mode, it is not for Rach and me when we kind of know that when we're not going to fight at all. So we are kind of hamstringing the game by not being able to. Is that the proper word? I don't know. But in Automa mode, hey, it's a free-for-all. I don't mind. And yeah, it is still just from the same system. You can kind of expand Scythe with... I've never played with other expansions and things. If you're a solo player of Scythe, let me know. Should I get those other things? I've heard that Wind Gambit maybe not be so good. Invaders from Afar, maybe the more factions would be a nice thing. Rise of Fenris is on the horizon. I really want to play that because, yeah, when I played and filmed and had Scythe, there were no expansions for it. So it's only the base game I've had any experience with, but I've been really enjoying digging back in, going back through the various factions. And, yeah, you've got the different combo between the actual player board and the faction that you are playing. But even in the factions, their special ability and then their mechs abilities, the similarities that, you know, River Walk is the same but just on different types of terrain. And speed is often there. I don't want to say always there, because I wouldn't say that I'm totally familiar with just the kind of the six that are with the base game. We are trying to juggle all of these things, trying to see where you're going to get the stars from, whilst knowing that stars aren't the be-all and end-all. You need the points. You want to be in control of when the game ends, when you think it's most advantageous for you. But, yeah, you don't want to just kind of rush it while someone else has been making all of the points in the meantime. And it's you can win by being at the top of this track and making everything worth a load of points. You can win this from being right at the bottom of the track, and sometimes that's an advantage because sure, you're getting fewer points for a lot of the categories. It's not affecting the structure bonus and the actual coins you earn during the game, but also, like, if you're in a position where you've got no popularity, it might hurt you in things that want popularity, like production towards the end of the game. Or not even towards the end of the game. When you've got a lot of workers out on the board, production starts costing popularity. But there is the advantage that you can go around kind of fighting defenseless workers. Not a nice thing to do, but yeah, without the threat of losing popularity because you're already the most unpopular you could possibly be. Yeah, it's just in this base game, there's so many different ways that it can go with the different combinations of factions that you can play and can play against, which is kind of, the Automa ignores all of that stuff, but it is represented on the cards still. If they're this particular faction, they will do this thing. There are difficulties of Automa beyond this. This is only normal. This is only the second level of difficulty. There's 2 more levels above this, and on top of that you can get more Automa decks and play against multiple Automa opponents. The rules, and I hope it didn't seem like loads that I was doing all the way through the playthrough. I want to get it clear how you make the decisions, but especially into the game, you are making, you can just see where they're going to be, especially when you can see a load of units surrounding a hex, or where's the worker going to go? That one. There might be a little bit of counting for which is the closest to the factory and stuff, but yeah, it starts to zoom by, especially when there's more stuff on the map and things are kind of taking their course. And yeah, you have to kind of be careful when you're just learning the ropes and make sure you don't forget things like they're allowed to go on the lakes, or that they're restricted to their island entirely until they've moved off that river walk section. But it works so smoothly. And there is I think it's unofficial, there's an app called Scythe, which it's free for the basic function of kind of replacing the thing and doing the drawing and shuffling for you. But you can pay for in-app purchases where you can have multiple Automa decks, and you can even kind of input the positions of everything on the map, and it will tell you where everything will go. So especially kind of if you're unsure in the beginning, if you're willing to give that a go, there's an AR mode as well, which I haven't tried, but that sounds really cool, where it will just show you on a representation of your board. But yeah, check that out. I might check that out for Rise of Fenris, Maybe put that in the playthrough if it's not too kind of 3D and see motion sickness inducing having the AR components. But yeah, between all of the various combinations of the faction itself, the player boards, alternating the positions of these things and what combines with what costs less for you to do initially, and also you kind of having control by enlisting, which means you're going to get bonuses from other people doing the things as well as you, upgrading, making everything cheaper for yourself, getting more mechs out. You too are stuck on your island at the start of the game. You need those mechs out to be going and at least one to get off here and start expanding, because you're going to be limited by not being able to get to the factory and not being able to spread out, and the factory is a whole extra amazing action. You're also not able to access types of resources as well that aren't on your starting island. It's just great, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what is in that campaign expansion. And it's very tempting looking through all of the things that realistic resources, metal mechs that I think are out of stock, which is probably good, because I would have got excited and maybe taken the plunge. Yeah, for now anyway, I'm really loving diving back into Scythe, because yeah, I after 5+ years, I remember kind of the basics of it, but yeah, the joy of diving in and trying to beat Automa is really, really great. I was going to say it's really, really joyful, but yeah, the joy is joyful, surprisingly. Yeah, it's been a blast going back to it, and I'm excited to continue with some stuff that I've never seen before as well, and maybe I'll take a plunge on more expansions in the future. But hey, for now, I'm so glad that I went back to Scythe. I'm glad that when I put it in the anniversary vote, this was video number 6 or something, really early on in the videos anyway. So really glad to go back to it and hopefully make a bit of a better video. And also, I'm glad to see that it got enough votes as well in the playthrough that you'd like to see some Scythe too. Hopefully, the playthrough is there though. You make your mind up about Scythe, although it's been around a load. I'm sure you've, if you haven't heard about Scythe yet, hey, congratulations, this is your day. I hope that the playthrough has piqued your interest anyway. And yeah, as I said in the playthrough, there's over 600 playthroughs on this channel. Hopefully there'll be another one that takes your fancy. You can support me in these ways that I can't quite point to because the cameras are in different positions. But hey, thank you for watching this one as well. I will see you for the next game. Bye everyone.